Show, Dishing It Out with Nikki and David Nellis.
Ooh, stones.
It's a good way to start the morning.
Painted black. Well, we'll explain why that's happening later on. But welcome to Dishing It Out with Nikki and David Nellis. This is the last time you're going to hear Dishing It Out because next week we morph into Foodie and the Beast. I can't wait. And what's more appropriate than today to announce that it's 10-10-10.
What does that have to do with the price
I don't know,
of
but I
tea
just
in
want everybody.
China?
I want everybody out there to know that I am not a witch.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I just finished my lovely bagel from Georgetown Bagelry. Shameless plug.
Yes.
We got an amazing show today.
We do.
It's a rare thing when the two food world icons collaborate to produce a book of really monumental proportions. A little hyperbole there, but I mean it's an amazing book. Author Coleman Andrews, who's the co-founder of Savour magazine. He's the former Gourmet magazine restaurant columnist. He's a prolific author, but he spent 2 years looking over the shoulder of Spanish chef Ferran Adrià, who's been called by many. Adrià. I only speak Italian. Adrià. But he's been called the greatest chef in the world, and his restaurant, El Bulli, in coastal Catalan, is really the world's most impossible and sought-after reservation. You got to call...
Next to, of course, the black restaurants.
You got to call 10 decades ahead.
Thank you.
But the result of this collaboration was a very engrossing book entitled Ferran, and Coleman Andrews is going to be on the phone today with insights into the book and the chef who many say reinvented food.
Yes. So as we sit here, the studio is filled with lots of delicious food, but also with the scent of bacon. Bacon, right? Because it's Bacon Week, and it's coming up at Restaurant 3 in Clarendon. And executive chef Brian Robinson is in with lots of treats. I just tweeted out a picture, actually. And we're going to be talking about all these tales of pork in just a little
Tales
bit.
of pork, you made a pun.
That's because you
love when
wrote
you
it.
do that.
I know, it's so funny.
I love when I write it.
Chefs Jeff and Barbara Black have built a string of restaurants you may have been to or heard of a couple of them.
Ergo, paint it black. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. You're just spelling it out for people today.
I want to make sure, people are sleepy out there.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Well, Addie's Black Market, Black's Bar and Kitchen, and Black Salt. And, of course, they have a new one coming up, which we're going to hear about a little later. Now, they're all known for their fabulous food, their commitment to sustainability, and, of course, their fantastic ambiance. But Jeff and Barbara are not just here for their restaurants today. Their son, Simon, has juvenile diabetes, and the Blacks are heavily involved in helping to battle that dangerous disease. So they're in today to talk about that, how they take care of it at home, and what we all can do to help out with this new cause.
And also about an amazing fundraising effort in 31 days to raise, $200,000?
Yes, $200,000.
For a new kitchen at Children's Hospital. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Well, it's 10-10-10, and October happens to be Virginia Wine Month, and we've got Kevin Malone in with us talking and tasting local wines. Kevin is the co-proprietor of the Tusky Dining Groups that own restaurants like Tuscarora Mill in Leesburg and a couple of Fireworks Pizzas, including the new one in Clarendon. Among others, we're going to hear all about Kevin's restaurants, and he's in with his buddy Muncie Ferguson, who collaborated with him on developing the new Tusky's Wine Trail, and it's designed to encourage discovery of D.C. wine country. So we're going to talk the trail and sample some wines found on it with Kevin and Muncie. And guys, let's start with you. The Tusky's Wine Trail, what is it?
It's our attempt to help people grasp the local wine scene. It's laid out sort of a whimsical style. It's fun. It's like I said, it's comprehensive. We have all 25 wines in Loudoun County included. There's B&Bs. There's the finest restaurants. All 4 of ours are part of the wine trail. And it's accompanied by a coupon book, which gives you discounts to tasting rooms, discounts on B&Bs, discounts at the restaurant. So it's not only does it help you find the places, it helps you afford them. And it's been very popular. This is our first year. And people are loving it.
Well, I'll take a dozen of those discount books, my friend. All right, what are you going to pour first?
We're going to start out with a Cassanel Babacuda, which is a no-oak Chardonnay. And it's very nice. It's made right outside of Leesburg, actually. Hear that? Doesn't that sound
Yes,
good?
it
Sounds good. Good way to start the morning.
All right, well, while you're pouring wines, we're going to turn over and talk to Jeff and Barbara Black.
Hello. Okay, Jeff, we've known you guys a long time. You live up the street from us. Of course, we've eaten at all your restaurants. And you've been on the show before talking about lots of great causes and different things. But we didn't know until just recently that your son, thank you, Simon, has diabetes. Tell us a little bit about the diagnosis and what that's meant for you and your family.
Absolutely, and thanks for having us on. It was a pretty big blow when we found out, and it was it opens your eyes to a lot of things, and,
Sure.
and really it impacted the entire family in ways we hadn't thought of. For the most part, of all of us, Simon has been the strongest trooper of the group.
Yay, Simon! Simon's in studio with us.
Yeah, he might get a chance to speak a little bit later, but he's a very good boy, and he's done really well with things, and. His doctor is the head of endocrinology at Children's,
okay,
and Dr. Fran Kogan, and she's trying to build a new diabetes wing at the new Children's Care Complex. And we had been in discussions with her and done a few small things here and there, and we told her we want to do something significant. She said, "I have the perfect thing. We need a test kitchen. We need a place to teach children and parents how to cook for diabetics.
Okay.
We went with nutritionists involved and guest chefs involved, and so we volunteered to raise the money for the new kitchen. And it's an aggressive approach, but I think we can pull it off.
You know, I'm going to bet that although people certainly know the disease diabetes, they don't really understand what type 1 diabetes is. Can you explain that?
Sure. In type 1, very different than type 2. Type 1 is you're genetically predisposed, so it's not something that you can, like type 2 diabetics can use diet and exercise to minimize or even decrease or wipe out the use of added insulin. Type 1 diabetic is going to be taking insulin injections for the rest of their life. His pancreas doesn't function properly and make the proper cells needed to metabolize basically sugars. And when the body can't metabolize sugars, it looks for sugars elsewhere, and the sugars just pass right through the body.
Got it.
So what do you do once you learn the news? How did it change for Simon, and how did it change for you? I mean, what did you have to do in your house? Barbara.
Good morning. Thank you for having us on.
Hi.
When he was first diagnosed, the doctor mentioned to us, luckily he was not very severe, so he did not need to be hospitalized.
Okay.
So the first day we went to Children's Hospital and started his insulin routine right then and began training, learning how to give the insulin injections ourselves at home 3 times a day,
Wow.
testing his blood for.
But what about diet?
A diet. We went through the entire pantry, our whole kitchen, and we both realized how much garbage and chemicals are in foods that appear to be healthy.
You mean like granola bars?
Everything. Exactly.
Yogurt.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yogurt?
Yogurt.
All yogurts or just like the kid junky yogurt?
Things that have aspartame or high fructose corn syrup. We try to avoid, we like natural sugars. I'm not necessarily, I still use refined sugar, but nothing, we try to reduce all of that in our daily diet.
Okay. So it's affected everybody. I mean, you've changed everything in your household. So as you started cooking for your family, what were the kinds of things that you started putting on the table? And Simon, come on over here so you can get on the mic a little bit. Was it hard for you changing your diet?
A little bit at first, but I got used to it.
You got used to it? And have you found new foods that you really like?
Oh, yeah.
You have to come over here.
Sorry.
You can get close to me. I won't bite you, I promise.
Just not too close, Simon. All right? Because I know your father.
Like, no, some things have changed. Like, I can't drink regular soda. I'll drink diet sodas.
You shouldn't be drinking soda anyway.
When I eat food,
Thank you.
when I eat food, I gotta, usually eat less unless it's like something healthy, like salad, which I'll eat sometimes.
Has it helped you feel better?
Yeah, sometimes.
And what about activity? I mean, you're still really active? You're running around?
Yeah, I'm on a football team.
Oh, all right. Good. So that's great. So now let me ask.
Lots of exercise. Exercise is actually very, very good for diabetics.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so Barbara, you brought in some food items. Tell us what you brought in and what you changed in order to make it great for Simon.
Well, I brought a lemon mousse cake, which has a little bit of gelatin. It has a thin crust, a little bit of cream cheese. I did half low-fat cream cheese. You can do the whole thing with low-fat if you want to reduce the fat intake. I also bought an apple crisp that I sweetened with Truvia.
Okay.
A little bit of brown sugar in the crisp topping. Very little sugar. And then just some fresh fruit, berries, papaya,
And so did you have to do a lot of research?
Absolutely. We read, we constantly are reading different diets that low carbohydrate, also some gluten-free things because diabetics are prone to celiacs. Which is
really
yes, it's and so Simon is tested on a yearly basis because they're just more prone to it. So we're trying to really appeal to a wide variety, especially at the restaurants. We're going to play around with some gluten-free items.
Well,
are people asking for it?
Well, I was just going to say, backing up to the celiacs, that we've been approached, or I believe Dr. Kogan's been approached, but also using this test kitchen to have demonstrations about how to cook gluten-free just for the people with celiacs. Because celiacs and diabetes are very, very closely interlinked.
Are they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had just learned this recently, and Simon had to be tested for celiacs, and he doesn't have it, fortunately. But there's a lot of things that a display kitchen can really help with, in the fact that when you have not had culinary training and you sit down and a nutritionist says, when your son has a low, meaning the blood sugars are low, and they have to get sugar or carbs in their body quickly, I just say, we'll have 15 grams of carbohydrate. Well, that doesn't mean anything to the layman. 15 grams of carbohydrate, what is that? What does that look like? And how does that assimilate in the body if I have 15 grams of carb with a protein with it? Well, that assimilates very differently than if it's just 15 grams of mashed potatoes. And it's very important, and it's good for everyone to have a good, sound training in nutrition.
Well, let me jump in quickly because you've got a whole bunch of activities and events planned at all your restaurants in the month of November to raise this $200,000. We've got about a minute and a half. Hit us with some of that.
Sure. Barb, you want to?
Sure. On October 24th, we're doing a barbecue competition, a rib competition over at Black Market Bistro in Garrett Park.
I think I'm a judge for that.
Oh my
I'm
God.
judging.
Why am I never asked to judge these things?
The pig out for diabetes.
Yes, I think it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a great time. Yeah. And then on the 6th, we're having an oyster wine tasting at Black Salt.
Black Salt. The two of the events are a little more foodie centric. We have an event at Black Salt and an event at Black's, both centered around wine and good food. And our two events that are at Black Market and Addie's are outdoor events with bands and kid-friendly items, moon bounces, things like that. So we try to have something for everybody.
And are there ticket prices for these? I mean, is that how you're doing it?
There's a lot of information, but if you go on our website, blackrestaurantgroup.com, there's complete dialogue about what the charities are, what we're trying to do, ticket prices, dates, times, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right, well, let's find out a little more about that. We got to take a quick break.
We do. And when we come back, we're going to find out more about some of these events, and we are also going to learn more about their new restaurant. Two restaurants that are opening up on 14th Street. We're going to get a cocktail made here. I just tweeted it online. This is David and Nikki Nellis with Dishing It Out. We'll be right back.
No colors in it.